Okay, so don't mind the noise in the background. It's just the laundry, being washed and everything like that. So, I am going to talk about spiritual gifts. Now, we all have them, believe it or not. We are all able to use these spiritual gifts. You just have to actually learn how to tap into them. And there are so many great people out there that help you tap into them. If you look into Mindvalley, which is a big one, really awesome company that I was able to be a part of. The guy, they tap into a lot of that stuff. It's Jose Silva is a big one as well, who gets if you study his stuff, you can find his books on Audible. You can find a lot of stuff on YouTube, stuff like that. So Jose Silva is a big one. He's the radio repairman that found out about being able to tap into reading minds and stuff like that. And so he really gets you into the whole spiritual realm and stuff like that. So we all have these abilities, the clairaudience, the clairsentience, and all of those things. Telekinesis, what else? Just being an oracle, being able to tell the future, and other odds and ends. Just, there's so many gifts that, astral travel, being able to go to different dimensions, so many things. There's so many gifts that we could go down. Mediumship is another one. I'm just trying to come up with all of them. Clairsentience, claircognizance. So being able to smell things that aren't really there, being able to know things, you just know. Clairaudience, being able to hear things, there's so many other clairs I can't say it right now off the top of my head, but all of these spiritual gifts, all of these things are things that everybody has access to. It's not just someone's super special, oh my gosh, they're just extra special, they got all these lucky things. No, we all have the ability. We all have intuition. We all have an inner knowing. It's all there. Some people have just been using it a little bit longer than other people. Case in point. So this is my theory on it all, okay? My theory. My spiritual theory. Don't come for me, K-Matt. So, it's a spiritual theory. If you know, you know. If you don't, then go figure it out. But, so, okay. Now, spiritual gifts. I think, from what I've learned, that spiritual gifts come about whenever you are in a life or death kind of situation, and also out of fear, out of great fear. So something to think about. Okay, my gifts I've had all my life, ever since I was young. I do not actually know when I first had them. Why I say that is because of the fact that I've always been able to see spirits. Not as of recently, not because, well, let me go back. When I was a small child, I spoke to and could see ghosts, could see spirits. There were a lot of them. I just thought I had a lot of imaginary friends, to be really honest with you. I saw Jesus. Jesus has always been with me. Always been with me. I actually, I laugh at it now because it's so funny. Because as a kid, you say some of the weirdest things. But as a kid, I remember that there was one point that Jesus told me that it was time to go outside and play. And I was like, okay. So I decided that I was going to go outside and I was going to go ride my bike. And I went over and I was heading outside, and my mom, I believe, was like, where are you going? And I was like, I'm going to go ride bikes with my boyfriend. Because I thought my boyfriend was Jesus. Because Jesus would always tell me how much he loved me. And to me, that meant that we were together. Because that's how distorted my love was with, like, because of my childhood trauma of being sex trafficked by my father and pimped out by him. It was something that love was distorted in my mind. So I thought Jesus was my boyfriend. And so I'm like, I'm going to go ride bikes with my boyfriend. And I didn't know it was Jesus, to be honest with you, because I wasn't 100% sure. Because I wasn't involved in the church. My family was not a church-going family. And it wasn't until after, like, because of me saying all of this and me being like, there's people here, I'm talking to my friends, I was told that that was not normal, and that if I was going to make any friends, or like if people were not going to like put me in the crazy asylum, then I had to stop talking like that. And so I said, okay. So I suppressed my spiritual gift and hid it somewhere safe, for safekeeping, for me to come back to at a later date when I could openly discuss it and be safe discussing it. But as a kid, later on, after having my parents tell me that, I went and got involved in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that's whenever I found out it was Jesus. That's whenever I was like, oh, I know him. Didn't say that to people because, like I said, I wasn't going to end up in the Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs asylum. So I was like, nope, I'm going to go ahead and keep my mouth shut. Because I don't want to be in the crazy loony bin with all these drugs. So I later learned that that's who was walking with me. I have, like, and it was always so funny for me because, like, people would be like, have you accepted the Lord Jesus Christ into your life? And it's like, the motherfucker's right here. Of course I have. Like, he's always with me. What are you talking about? I can't get rid of the guy. This guy can't, like, he won't leave me alone. Like, he keeps trying to tell me to do the right thing and, like, calls me out whenever I do stupid shit. And he's like, well, that's not very nice, you know? I'm like, shut the fuck up, Jesus. You know? Like, that's kind of how it is. And so, like, you've always got him on your back, you know, supporting you, but also calling you out when you do stupid stuff. Like, was that really the right thing to do? No, it wasn't. Okay, fine, I'll fix it. Gosh, get off my back, Jesus. So, like, he's laughing at me right now. Stop it. But I'm just saying that, like, I have always been able to hear, see, you know, see all of that with spirits. And so it was funny to me, you know, that I thought that was normal. I thought everybody could do that. But then whenever I learned that not everybody could do that, you know, a lot of the things that I do naturally, that I have spiritual gifts, I didn't know that that's what they were because I was not raised to understand that. And I didn't go out looking for it because I didn't really know what to look for, to be honest with you. So my view, this is my belief on it. Because of my trauma as a child, my spiritual gifts were heightened because of the fact that I was trying to escape the situation. Now, when we have a very traumatic physical experience and we want to get away from it, we run to the upper chakras. Like, our lower chakras are not steady. And if you don't feel safe ever where you're at with the family that you're at, if nobody in your life makes you feel safe, you won't feel grounded. And so you'll spend a lot of your time in the upper chakras. And especially if a good chunk of, like, if it's sexual trauma, then there's a lot of escaping down there and a lot of toxicity there. And then if you become pretty much just, you are created to be a people pleaser, then there's not much there in your solar plexus chakra because there's not a lot of confidence there. And then your heart chakra is kind of all distorted because you don't have a real clear sense of what love is. And your throat chakra is closed up because you don't have a voice. You can't speak your truth. You can't call out for help. You can't, you can't ask for someone to save you. That kind of stuff. So you're kind of like here, if not like clear the fuck up here. And I say clear the fuck up here because, like, going to places, astral traveling, all of that stuff. Astral traveling does not have to be just at night. It can be done just zoning out. You're not here. You're off with the fae, or, like, you're somewhere else, but you're not here. That's the same thing. So you spend more time up in these two chakras and higher, if not more. So my belief is the fact that if you have consistent sexual trauma, consistent trauma that is happening to you consecutively, repeatedly, for a good while, for me, it was up until I was 12 years old, and it was repeatedly in various different places and by different people. So because of it, the only way for me to when you are, this is the hard part. Because, like, my body wants to clench up, like, right now. I can feel it because I know what I'm about to say, and my body is, like, starting to tighten up. So when you are locked in a room where you cannot escape, and you have a grown man that is doing things to you that you can't run away from, you will find whatever means you can to get away. So you will leave and mentally go somewhere else. Okay? So that's where I believe personally that those that have suffered immense sexual trauma, and I'm not saying boys or girls, I'm just saying all the above, their spiritual gifts are heightened a lot more because of the fact that there's no control over it yet. For some maybe, others maybe not, but they're more heightened because of the fact that there was no safety. So there was an escapism and everything. And so everybody has spiritual gifts. It's just the fact that some people are just more in tune with it because that was their only means of survival in being able to never feeling safe, and so therefore they had to rely on those spiritual gifts to survive in this world. Where very much with me, I am very much in tune with my guides. I have been listening to them all my life. Whenever I got this idea to go do something, or whenever I was told to go do any kind of idea or like thing or whatever it may be that just magically pops into your head, that's your guides. That's your spiritual crew looking out for you. I love when I rhyme. But that's your spiritual squad doing those things, popping things in your head, and leading you in the right direction, okay? So, for me, I've just always listened to them. I've followed my intuition. I had to relearn how to trust myself again because of all the trauma that I had. So that was a whole process in itself of being able to trust my intuition again, because of the fact that I doubted myself because I was gaslit all my life, and therefore I had learned how to gaslight myself, and so therefore I was constantly second guessing myself. And now I've gotten to the point where I just like say, if that's what I believe, that's what I believe, and I'm going to trust it, and we're going to just go with it, because I don't need to gather proof. There's no proof. I don't need proof. So I just wanted to bring this up in the fact that spiritual gifts are, we all have them. We can all use them. No one's more special than another person. That's not how it is. Some people are just a little bit more in tune, and some people want to go down that road. Other people don't want to go down that road. If you don't want to go down that road, you don't want to go down that road. That's fine. Go. That's okay. There's positives and negatives to it. Like right now, my spiritual gifts, because I have spent so much time gathering them back up, like finding the little pieces. Like right now, I have been seeing rainbow fractal prisms everywhere. Just out of nowhere. And it's one of those things that, like, because I've been working on myself, because I have been building that muscle, they're all muscles. Like, you have to use them, and you have to, like, build them up over time to get better at it. Like, my intuition, I use that all the time. I use my intuition. I would use it for driving for Uber. I would use it because I would be like, okay, well, let's take this left street here, and maybe we'll catch a ride there. Oh, it worked. For Cabela's, working at Cabela's, I use it all the time. I guess where the box is going to be at, and I go straight to it, and if I don't get it right, I don't beat myself up, if I get it right, I celebrate, I thank my guides, and I congratulate myself and all of that, and I just keep going. But right now, my gifts are changing. They're altering a bit now. The rainbow fractal prisms, I asked, are me finally being able to see spirits more clearly. Because I had it as a gift as a child, but because I got scared and I allowed that fear to take over, and I shamed myself for it, it went dormant and hasn't been really used that much. I've had moments, don't get me wrong. I have seen spirits plenty of times, in various different ways, and those, yeah, that was oh Lord. I'm being told to tell this story. Okay. So, realize that some drugs are used to be able to connect with different frequencies. Okay. One of the reasons why I gravitated toward drugs, I think personally that, I'm just barely now getting this, but personally I gravitated towards drugs a bit in a way was because I was able to see some of the same things that I saw as a child. So it gave me the same things that I experienced as a child in a way. Being able to see different things. So what I mean by that is, so this is my assumption on, not my assumption, but alcohol is actually, there's, if you go look it up and you ask it about the spiritualness of alcohol, alcohol is called spirits because of the fact that what it does is it pokes holes in your auric field and allows spirits to gain access to you. That's why some people use it for different things, like they use it to communicate with like spirits and stuff like that, or to be able to harness more spiritual energy in some ways. But it's not with the light ones, it's only with the dark. Realize that. A lot of dark spirits are attracted to people that are alcoholics or that drink excessively. Like, that's why whenever you are getting off of those addictions, you have such intense dreams and stuff like that, because it's like your body's trying to release those, like, you're trying to fight off those spirits. You're trying to let go of those spirits and release them. It's a big process. But it's not just that. It's the fact that my opinion on this one is that meth is also, that's where a lot of people see shadow people and stuff like that. It's because the fact that all of these things are around us. Everything is around us. It's just we can't see them because they are on a different vibrational frequency than what we can see with our bare eyes. Very much the exact same kind of concept when it comes to like when we look into a microscope. We can't see it. We just have to use equipment to be able to see what we want to see at a very small level. Same with different astral realms, same with different vibrational frequencies, same with like spirits and stuff like that. They're there. They're there. We just aren't vibrating at the right frequency to be able to see them. So this is where meth comes in. Now, meth is a very, like, if you've ever heard about it or seen it, someone on it, it's like a very like jumpy, like you are go, like insane. Small doses, it's great for people with ADHD because it helps like slow things down a little bit with your mind. But I'm not saying people should do it. I'm just saying that this is kind of like what I've noticed, because Adderall is honestly just legalized meth. Just saying. Meth is like this drug that will make you vibrate on a whole different frequency level. Okay. I bring this up because if you see someone that is like on meth and they're just like talking to thin air, there's something there. Just saying. They're not just seeing this. It's just some people have that gift of sight and do see those things. Like, I've seen the shadow people. Like I said, meth addict before. I used, here's a little like backstory. Ex-boyfriend, after I got out of my divorce, I had a pattern, like I said. And I'll tell this story here in a little bit, but he was a drug addict, and so he introduced me to meth. And so I, being a people pleaser and being like so needy for love and all of that stuff, I would do anything for anybody. And so I was that way. Not anymore. Just not who I am. I don't really give a damn. Not saying that I went the complete opposite and I closed myself off. I don't overgive, and I don't give up myself for someone else. Just saying. But so he was a meth addict and introduced me to meth. And so there was one time that we were together and we were cleaning up and clearing out the old house that my ex-husband and I were going to sell. And we were trying to clean it up and clear it out because he left it a complete fucking mess. It was disgusting. And I wanted to try and get as much money out of it as I could. So I went in there and I cleaned it up and I fixed things and I did all of that stuff to it. And so we were staying at the house, sleeping downstairs on an air mattress. And so we had just barely smoked, and we were coming upstairs, and this is why also meth makes people very paranoid. It's a whole different experience. But I came upstairs and we started walking around upstairs. We were going to go take a bath. And so we're walking upstairs from the basement, from one of the basement rooms, and we're going through the kitchen. And I look outside in the backyard and I was like, do you see that? Do you see those people? And he was just like, what people? Who are you talking about? And I was like, you don't see those people. Like, okay. So we're heading from the kitchen into the living room to go down the hall to go into the bathroom. And we get into the living room and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, you don't see these people. Can you see any of these people? And he's looking at me like I have fucking lost my mind. Like I am like insane. Like he is looking at me like I have completely fallen off and I have like just like I don't even know how I looked to him because I felt like how he was looking at me, like I was crazy. And I'm looking around the room and I'm just like, you don't see any of this. And then I go and I look out the front window and then there's like a ton more people out there on the floor, like out on the grass, out in the street. Like my house looked like it was a fucking kegger, like a college kegger, fraternity kind of kegger. Like that's how many people I was seeing. And I'm just asking him, I'm like, you don't see that person? You don't see any of these people? You don't see it? And he's just like, no, I don't see anything. Are you okay? And I'm like, I don't think I am. And the look, I will never forget. Like, I will never forget the look on the faces of these people. They're just like, they have this look on their face like, yeah, now she sees us. Now you see us. Like, are you kidding me? In that moment, I was honestly thinking, I'm like, oh no, they're back. Like, they're all back. They're here. Little did I actually know that I was seeing spirits. After that whole experience, we went and sat in the bath and came back out and they weren't there. And I was like, did I imagine this? What the hell happened? So, like I said, I used to be able to, and then I got reminded that I could. And ever since then, I now have become more aware of when I went through my mental breakdown and started realizing a lot of my story and all of that, I finally started to realize that I was not wrong, that I had these gifts, that I could see these, and now that they're coming right back up online, and they're changing and they're altering. And so like right now my spiritual gifts are readjusting, which is fine because, you know, as we grow, you know, physically, mentally, and spiritually, things change. They don't stay the same. Your 5-year-old is not going to look the same when they hit 15, okay? Completely different things. So now my gifts are changing. So that's one of the things that I'm having to work through, is like relearning how they work and stuff like that. But I just wanted to share this with anybody that has ever had their spiritual gifts and thought they were cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You're not. You're not crazy. It's real. It's all real. You just may have had the wrong people around you. And also know that, you know, in order to go back and get those spiritual gifts, because sometimes we shove them down and hide them, you have to go through that trauma. You have to like see through what needs healing, and you have to heal specific areas to be able to recover that gem, that beautiful gift that you have that you can use to help others. So that is what I wanted to share, and you know, I love you, and you know, stay safe and be blessed, and you know, keep healing, you know, because you matter. You really do. And keep growing and keep finding that person that you want to be. Okay? I love you.